The delivery driver grabbed me saying, "Your husband collapsed at work. They need you immediately." The moment I opened the door, he grabbed my arm and said, "Ma'am, your husband Daniel collapsed at the construction site. They're doing CPR right now. The paramedics said to bring you immediately." His grip tightened when I tried to step back. "Every second counts. We need to go now." Something in his voice made my blood turn cold. "Wait, let me get my purse," I said, but he was already pulling me toward his delivery truck. "No time," he said. "They said he might not make it if you don't come right now." My bare feet scraped against the concrete driveway as he dragged me forward. "I need shoes," I protested, but he lifted me off the ground and practically threw me into the passenger seat. As he ran around to the driver's side, I noticed his uniform didn't have a company logo, just generic brown fabric that looked like a costume. The truck lurched forward before I'd even closed the door. "Which hospital?" I asked, fumbling for the seatbelt with shaking hands. "Where are they taking him?" The man glanced at me and I caught something predatory in his dark eyes. "Not hospital yet. They're stabilizing him on site first. Construction accidents are tricky. Can't move him until they know what's broken." He took a sharp left turn that threw me against the door, and I realized we were heading away from town instead of toward it. "What's your name?" I asked. The man's hands tightened on the steering wheel, knuckles going white. "Kevin," he said after a pause. "I've been delivering to that site for months. Know all the guys there?" But when I asked him which construction company Daniel worked for, Kevin said Brookfield Construction. Daniel worked for Morrison Building. He'd been there for 3 years, and I knew the name of every supervisor and most of his coworkers. There was no Brookfield Construction in our area. My phone buzzed in my pocket, and I pulled it out with trembling fingers. A text from an unknown number. "Your husband is safe. Do exactly what Kevin tells you or he won't stay that way." The message included a photo of Daniel bound to a chair in what looked like a warehouse, his mouth covered with duct tape and his eyes wide with terror. Blood trickled from his forehead, and his work shirt was torn. Kevin watched me read the message and a thin smile spreading across his face. "Now you understand," Kevin said, his voice completely different now, colder, more controlled. "Your husband owes some very serious people a lot of money, $53,000 to be exact, plus interest that's been piling up for months." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a thick folder, tossing it onto my lap. Inside were photographs of Daniel at casino poker tables, signing papers at payday loan offices, meeting with men in expensive suits. The photos were date-stamped going back almost a year. "Daniel doesn't gamble," I whispered, but even as I said it, I was remembering things that hadn't made sense at the time. The late nights he'd explained as overtime work, the cash withdrawals from our checking account that he'd blamed on car repairs. Kevin pulled the truck into an abandoned shopping center. "He's been using your house as collateral," he continued, showing me loan documents with what appeared to be my signature at the bottom. "Forged your name real nice. My boss doesn't care about the technicalities. He just wants his money. Daniel promised it would be settled by today, but when we went to collect this morning, he'd already called in sick to work. Seemed like he might be planning to disappear on us." The second truck arrived 5 minutes later, a black SUV with tinted windows that screamed organized crime. 2 men got out, both wearing expensive suits that didn't match the rundown neighborhood. The older one was maybe 50, with graying hair. The younger one looked like he could bench press a car, and his sweatpants clearly losing the battle against what nature gave him. "Mrs. Crawford," the older man said, sliding into the driver's seat as Kevin moved to the back. "I'm Ray Fulton. Your husband owes me a substantial amount of money, and frankly, I'm tired of his creative payment schedules." He opened a laptop computer and showed me a spreadsheet with dozens of names, amounts, and payment statuses. Daniel's name was near the top with $53,847.33 in red letters beside it. Other names had notes like paid in full or collection complete or ominously account closed. "This is a business," Ray explained. "We provide high-risk loans to people who can't get credit through traditional channels." Daniel understood these terms when he borrowed from us. What he apparently didn't understand was that defaulting on payment would put his family at risk as well. The fridge-sized man, who Ray introduced as Tommy, opened a second laptop and showed me surveillance footage of my daily routine. They'd been watching me for weeks, learning my schedule, planning this moment. "We prefer negotiation to violence," Ray said, "but we need leverage to ensure Daniel takes his obligations seriously." "You're that leverage. What do you want?" I asked. Full story on my channel and linked below.